In this video, I'm going to list the 10 best natural bodybuilders in the world. Being able to distinguish a real natural bodybuilder from a fake natty is my full-time profession. I've spotted many steroid users over the years, even those who claim to be natty. Equally, you might find some names on this list who thought were taking steroids, but are actually natural. A note for you: for a bodybuilder to be included in this list, they'll have a substantial amount of evidence pointing to them being natural. Almost every bodybuilder on this list has been accused of taking steroids at some point. However, these claims have no substance. It's interesting how many people shout steroids and underestimate the power of genetics when it comes to bodybuilding. These 10 natural bodybuilders are the epitome of what the human body is capable of achieving without taking drugs. Although it's possible to look like these guys naturally with years of hard work, training and dieting, it'll be a longer process because they have world-class genetics. I have ranked these bodybuilders in order of biggest to smallest in terms of muscularity. This has nothing to do with how good they look or how aesthetic they are, but simply their DNA when it comes to building muscle mass. With that in mind, even the smallest bodybuilders on this list are yoked. Number 1. Sadiq Hadzovic. Height 5 feet 11 inches, weight 200 pounds. Sadiq, especially in the off-season, is a big boy. Year in, year out, he gets ripped to shreds for the Mr. Olympia's men physique category, displaying one of the best V-tapers the world has ever seen. Long before he arrived on the bodybuilding stage, he was a model. In his modeling days, he was practically the same size as he is now. If he was taking steroids, surely he would have made some significant gains since switching over to competitive bodybuilding. Plus, Sadiq has no signs of steroid use, including balding, acne, steroid gut, 3D delts, or huge straps. On top of this, his vacuumed waist would be very difficult to maintain after several years of using. No trace of steroids on Sadiq whatsoever. Number 2. Michael Aaron. Height is 6 feet 3 inches, weight 247 pounds. Michael Aaron, otherwise known as the Titan, is a 46-year-old American bodybuilder who is 4x natural Mr. Universe champion and also took part in the Gladiator TV series. He has a big following across social media with over 500,000 fans just on his Facebook account. He claims to be a lifetime natural, giving advice to natural gym goers during his videos and putting hashtags such as AllNattyPro in his Facebook post. However, many people on social media are calling him Myco Tren in reference to the anabolic steroid Trenbolone. This is because people believe he's lying about being a natural bodybuilder and have labeled him a fraud for doing so. Firstly, Mike was massive at just 14 years old. This is nowhere near the end of puberty, with hardly any lifting experience under his belt, yet he was already a monster. This shows that Mike really is a freak of nature. Like Dante, Mike's also passed INBA tests, winning 4 titles with the Bodybuilding Federation. Firstly, you would never compete with the INBA to begin with, because you'd get caught. Secondly, even if by a miracle you didn't, you wouldn't risk it in the first place, because they have a Hall of Shame page on their website where they list athletes who's failed their test. So you would effectively be risking your career by competing with these guys. Also, Mike doesn't have any steroid symptoms present on his body, and his muscle proportions are typical of a natural bodybuilder. Number 3. Simone Panda. Simone is an English bodybuilder from London who has one of the most aesthetic physiques in the world. Simone's rise to fame is largely because of his huge upper body mass combined with an incredibly tiny waist. and the fact that he claims to be a lifetime natural. His muscles have earned him Musclemania Pro card, competing alongside the likes of Ulysses and Scholzon. He also landed sponsorship with supplement giant MyProtein. As a result of claiming Natty, he's gained over 4.7 million fans on his Facebook page, more than Phil Hills and Kay Green. I analyzed pictures of Simone since he was 16 until today. He's made all his gains in a natural fashion, and no point did he suddenly blow up and get bigger. And he hasn't grown much since he finished puberty, giving more credibility to the fact that he's a natural bodybuilder. Simone passed a lie detector test and sternly denies ever taking steroids on YouTube. I sent this YouTube video to a forensic linguistic analyst, and his analysis confirms that Simone Panda was being truthful in the video. It's also impossible to achieve such a tiny waist on so much gear. He even makes Arnold look bloated. Number 4. Dante Franklin. Height 6 feet. Weight 215 pounds. Dante is what some like to call a genetic freak, with his muscle building DNA being 1 in a million. If he were to take steroids and get shredded to the bone, he'd give any Mr. Olympia competitor a run for their money. He's got the best natty arms I've ever seen, thick backs and a ripped midsection. There is no argument about Dante being natural, with him competing in the INBA and NANBF, which are legit natty federations. They conduct multiple tests at random times throughout the year to catch out any potential steroid users. These include lie detectors, blood tests, urine tests, and more. If you are juicing, you'll fail at least one of these tests somewhere along the line. You would have to be naive to compete with this organization if you are juicing, as their random testing is close to 100% accurate. At 18 years old, Dante was pretty much the same size as he is today, proving that he was born to be huge. Number 5. Jamie Alderton. Height is 6 feet. Weight 190 pounds. Jamie is a natural bodybuilder from England and best known for being sponsored by a supplement company, Grenade. At 13 years old, Jamie already had exceptional muscularity for his tender age. Even Hercules would be admiring these genetics. Jamie has competed with the WBFF, Musclemania, and BMBF. BMBF and Musclemania are the standout federation here, with both of them being real natural bodybuilding shows. They conduct many different tests at random, so if you're taking steroids at any point throughout the year, you are going to get caught. Jamie also doesn't have any irregularities when looking at his body. He's got nice thick hair, small traps, a tight midsection, and no gyno or flash skin. 100% natty. Jeremy Puendia. Height 5 feet 8 inches. Weight 180 pounds. In the off-season, Jeremy is a mass monster, and when it comes to competition, he's also the most shredded guy on stage. His discipline and hard work has resulted in him being a dominant force in the IFBB men's physique division, winning the competition 4 years in a row. At 17, during high school, Jeremy was already a unit. Actually, since he hasn't gained much size at all, he's just learned how to get shredded. His shoulders are pretty weak compared to other muscle groups, which is why he lacks a little definition in his area. You won't see a guy on steroids with weak shoulders because on the juice your shoulders literally turn into boulders within few cycles. Also, Jeremy is very light, especially when he steps on stage, clocking in at just 165 pounds. This is another indication that he's a natural bodybuilder, as guys on the sauce will retain large amounts of fluid. Jeremy simply has a world-class genetics for bodybuilding. When you combine this with a warrior-like work ethic, it's not hard to work out why he's such a formidable champion. Number 7. Mike Thurston. Height 6 feet. Weight 210 pounds. Mike is an English bodybuilder and personal trainer. Mike started to get swole before he even got to secondary school. By the age of 10, he already had a lot of muscle size for his age. You could see already that if Mike kept developing at this rate, he'd evolve into a beast. And that's exactly what happened. Once his teen partying days were over, he started to nail his diet. Mike's become one of the best natural bodybuilders around. Like other natties, he hasn't grown much since the age of 18, and nowhere in his life did he suddenly shoot up and double the size. All signs of a real natural. Number 8. Steve Cook. Height 6 feet 1 inch, weight 212 pounds. Steve Cook is the Batman of Gymshark crew, steering alongside David Lade, aka Robin. Many natural bodybuilders look swole without the t-shirt on, but don't look that impressive covered up. Steve Cook is the exception, with his biceps able to bulge out from even the loosest t-shirts. Men's physique guys also get a bit of stick for wearing board shorts and consequently receive criticism for their chicken legs. Steve also puts this myth to bed, having 3 trunks for legs, yet still in proportion to the rest of his body. Steve has a gains timeline of a natural bodybuilder too. He was already jacked back in high school when he was playing American football and hasn't gained any size since. Since taking bodybuilding more seriously, he's simply become skilled at dieting and learning how to lower his body fat percentage rather than adding mass. Number 9. Rob Riches. Height 5 feet 10 inches, weight 190 pounds. Rob Riches was only labeled Ride Riches for failing a drug test. However, despite some bizarre rumors of him testing for Anavar, this was fake news. In reality, Rob took a pre-workout called Craze, which had been spiked with a stimulant called N-alpha diacyl benzoyl Many people heard that Rob had failed a drug test and went off drawing their own conclusions to what steroid he was running. But all evidence suggests he was 100% natural. At just 21, he signed a contract for LA Muscle. It was almost as big as he is now. This proves that he's not gained much size over the last 10 years. One of the biggest signs of someone being a natural bodybuilder is that they fail to grow much faster after their initial growth spurt of going to the gym. This is also true in Rob's case. Rob doesn't have any of the steroid symptoms on his body, and his traps are relatively small. Rob also competed in the BNBF, Musclemania, UKBFF, and NBA, all legit natty competitions, and has never tested positive for steroids. Rob is one of the most dedicated and knowledgeable bodybuilders in the industry, willing to teach others, giving workout and nutrition advices on his social media channels. You'll be hard-pressed to find a better conditioned bodybuilder than Rob, who rarely ever seems to hover above 7% body fat, despite being in the game for a long time now. If you are hoping to catch Rob at an expo and beat him in the ab-off, make sure you are below 6% body fat. Number 10. Anton Antipov. Height 5 feet 11 inches, weight 190 pounds. Anton is a model bodybuilder who's competed in the NBC and IFBB divisions and has won several of these competitions. He's keen to point out that he's natty on the social media and doesn't mind confronting trolls who suggest otherwise. In 2004, Anton started lifting weights and began eating more food. And the rest is history. He used to resemble a skinny pretty boy, now he's transformed into a jacked alpha male. However, even in his skinnier days, where he was barely eating any food, he still had ripped six-pack abs and some lean muscle. Anton's genetics when it comes to backing on a muscle are very strong. When he was out partying, getting drunk and barely getting any sleep, he was still more jacked than 99% of weightlifting population. He hasn't gotten much bigger since he started pumping iron and quit booze in 2007. A phenomenal natural bodybuilder. Don't forget to subscribe and see you in the next video.